Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. You know, I've been hooked on General Hospital for longer than I care to admit, and let me tell you, this latest twist with Dante Falconeri has me leaning forward in my recliner every single afternoon. I just read the newest spoilers and my jaw about hit the floor. Dante finally put the pieces together on who shot Ross Cullum, and it came straight from good old nurse Elizabeth Baldwin. Turns out the trigger man wasn't some stranger at all. It was his own boy, Rocco. My heart just ached for the guy. As a dad who's raised a couple of kids through their wild years, I can feel that cold fear right in my chest. Dante's world is spinning. He knows Cullum is sniffing around the Port Charles Police Department right now, demanding every scrap of fresh evidence on the shooter. And every clue, every little thread is pointing straight back at Rocco. I tell you, it's tearing Dante up inside. He's a cop through and through, always tried to do things the right way, but right now his only job is protecting his son. You can almost see the wheels turning in his head. How far is he willing to go? Is he really about to bend the rules, maybe even cross that line and become a dirty cop just to keep Rocco safe? I've seen enough life to know a father will move heaven and earth for his child, but watching Dante wrestle with it on screen, well, it hits different. And that's not even the half of it, because while Dante's scrambling to cover tracks, he's also this close to cracking the whole Marco Rios murder wide open. Turns out Cullum was the one who pulled that trigger too. If Dante connects those dots before Cullum figures out who really shot him, everything could blow up in the biggest way. I'm sitting here wondering how long he can keep this secret before it all comes crashing down. Man, these writers know exactly how to keep an old fella like me coming back day after day. My wife keeps shaking her head at me saying, "It's just a soap, honey," but I swear the way they weave family, loyalty, and those heart-stopping choices, it feels real. I can't wait to see what Dante does next. You folks feel the same? You know, the more these General Hospital spoilers keep rolling in, the more I find myself pacing around the living room, coffee cup in hand, just turning it all over in my mind. As long as that rotten Cullum is still walking around Port Charles, he's like a dark cloud hanging right over Rocco's head. The man already killed Marco Rios in the coldest, most heartless way you can imagine. No mercy, no second thoughts, just pure evil. I can picture Dante sitting there at his desk, the pieces finally clicking into place, and that fatherly fear hitting him like a freight train. He knows his boy won't sleep safe at night until Cullum is gone for good. It's the kind of realization that changes a man, doesn't it? Makes you wonder what you'd do if it was your own kid staring down the barrel of trouble like that. Now, I've always rooted for Dante because he's been one of those steady, by-the-book cops on the show, the guy who tries to do right even when the world's falling apart around him. But this time it feels different. Once he connects the dots and sees Cullum as the one who pulled the trigger on Marco, I'm betting he'll do something that goes straight against everything he stands for. He might not march in and handle it himself. Dante's too sharp for that kind of sloppy mistake. No, I think he'll play it smarter, maybe slip just the right bit of information to Sidwell and then step back, letting the chips fall where they may. It's like handing someone else the match and walking away while the fire starts on its own. Man, that kind of scheming doesn't sit right with the Dante we've known all these years, the decent, good-hearted fellow who puts family and duty first. But lately, the writers have been reminding us he's not perfect. Remember when he hit rock bottom and walked out on his family? That was a darker chapter, the kind that shows even the best of us can stumble when the pressure gets too heavy. Could be they're planting those seeds on purpose, hinting that this whole mess is about to pull him right back into that gray area again. I tell you, it's got me and the missus arguing over dinner every night about where this story's headed. Will Dante really cross that line to protect Rocco, or will he find some way to stay clean while still getting the job done? Either way, it feels like the writers are setting up one of those gut-wrenching choices that make soap so addictive. You watch a man like Dante wrestle with his conscience, and suddenly it's not just TV anymore, it's reminding you of real life, of the times you've been to rule or two, because love makes you do crazy things. I'm sitting here hoping the show lets him stay true to who he is deep down, but I've got a feeling things are about to get messy. These twists keep me coming back day after day, wondering how far a good man will go when his son's life is on the line. What do you folks think? Will Dante stay the hero we love, or is he about to get his hands a little dirty for the sake of family? I sure can't wait to find out. You know, the deeper I get into these General Hospital spoilers, the more my mind keeps circling back to one big question that's got me worried sick. Is young Rocco really in that kind of danger? I mean, as long as Cullum's still out there breathing, that boy's got a target on his back the size of Texas. The man already took out Marco without a shred of remorse, and now he's digging for every scrap of evidence on who shot him. Dante's no fool. He sees it plain as day. If he wants Cullum gone yesterday, it only makes sense he'd let Sidwell catch wind of the behind-the-scenes dirt. Not by spelling it out, mind you, but just enough of a nudge so the pieces fall into place on their own. I've seen enough tough spots in my own life to know a desperate dad will do what he has to do, even if it means wading into water that ain't exactly clean. You know, these latest General Hospital spoilers have me scratching my head and feeling every bit of Dante's confusion right along with him. The poor guy is really rattled after that heart-to-heart with Elizabeth Baldwin, and I can't blame him one bit. Picture this. Liz swings by his office down at the PCPD, the kind of quiet visit that usually means something big is brewing. Dante opens up to her, admits that somebody else got a hold of that gun, and you can just see the worry lines deepening on his face. Then Liz looks him square in the eye and says she thinks she knows exactly who it was. Man, that moment alone is enough to keep a fellow like me glued to the screen, wondering which way the story is about to twist. I tell you, watching a stand-up guy like Dante get this twisted up inside really tugs at the heartstrings. He's always tried to do right by his badge and his family, but right now it feels like the walls are closing in. One wrong move, and everything he's built could come crashing down. My wife and I were talking about it over supper last night, and I said, honey, that's what makes this show feel so real good. People getting pushed to the edge when their kids are in danger. I keep wondering if this conversation with Liz is the spark that finally lights the fuse. Will Dante stay true to the honorable man we've known, or is the fear for Rocco about to pull him into choices he never thought he'd make? These writers sure know how to keep an old-timer like me on the edge of my seat day after day, hoping against hope that Dante finds a way through without losing himself completely. These hot new plots show Dante feeling backed into a corner like never before, and that pressure is starting to push him towards some pretty shady choices. I've always known him as the stand-up guy, the one who tries to keep his moral compass pointing true north. But when your own flesh and blood is on the line, well, that compass can start spinning, can't it? I catch myself wondering if he's about to act without thinking it all the way through, making moves that go clean against everything he believes in. Maybe he'll track down Britt just to ask if she's already spilled the beans to him. Or maybe it'll be a tense little warning, letting her know he's figured out Rocco pulled that trigger. Could turn into one of those raw father-son moments where they finally hash it out face to face, not with Nathan or anybody else stepping in. Lord, I can already feel the tension building on screen. Man, these twists have me and the missus glued to the couch every afternoon, debating whether Dante's going to hold on to the good man he is or finally let the darkness creep in to save his boy. I sure hope the writers give him a way out that doesn't break him completely because, you know, watching a decent guy like him get pulled under would be heartbreaking. Still, that's what makes this show feel so real. It reminds us that love can make us do things we never dreamed of, for better or worse. I tell you, I can't wait to see how it all shakes out, but my heart's right there with Rocco and Dante every step of the way. Family's everything, folks, and this storyline is proving it in the most heart-pounding way possible.